here we go.
You guys enjoying the winning? Look at this. The dance is everywhere. Music, whatever. Oh well. Yeah, copyright music. I'll get in trouble. Oh well. I'll have to cut it. But you guys get to watch it live. So you guys are the special ones. The very special people who got to catch it live. And then I'll just deal with my copyright strike tomorrow. Sometimes you just got to do it, right? Right? You just got to do it. Anyways, what's going on, my friends? How we all doing tonight? Hope you guys are doing well. Whew, so much winning. So much winning up in this hizzy. It's life is good since Trump won the election. What do you think? I think I'm pretty happy about it. Good Lord, I got so much stuff I got to go over today, but it's just getting better by the day, and it doesn't mean hard times aren't coming. It doesn't mean we're not going to have a couple hiccups here and there. It doesn't mean the fight's over, but dang, I'm having a good time. I'm loving life under Trump right now. So let me say hey to everybody, and then we got to get into it because we got a lot on this show. Country Computers numero uno here on YouTube. By the way, guys, I apologize if you're watching on Rumble or X. Unfortunately, I'm not getting your chat. It just doesn't work very good. So I apologize for that. I only see the YouTube chat, and every once in a while, Rumble chat comes through. So apologies to that, my friends. But Country Computers is first. Pat Shigoya, Big B round out the big trace. First trace, Hobbs, Rumdog, Cass Sink, Volkovich, Troy Man, Vince, Felice, our Will. What's up, buddy? On time. BM Pro, BB Vision, Toe Cramp, Udoka, the one. What to do? Stella Artois, Cindy Lou Who, John Cox, President accounted for, Agent Orange. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. No, my fantasy team's doing terrible. Let's not talk about that right now. Everything in football is bad for me this year. The Niners, my fantasy team. It's just, in fact, let me take this hat off. They ain't win nothing. I'm going to put a winner's hat on tonight. Winner's hat on tonight as I talk about the news. So, we're winning. We got to keep the momentum on. Kilvy's in the house. Randy Atwell, Matthew Killar wants a mix of politics and markets. I am going to talk a little bit about the markets, Matthew. But if you really want my latest market talk, you're going to want to get the membership. It's $3 a month. I talked big time about stocks in the marketplace on yesterday's members live. So if you guys want my market update in detail, you're going to go watch that. There's too much news today for me to go just on the markets, although I will touch it a little bit. So Scarpazza, Hamilton, all right. Michael Tucker, keep winning. GameStop going up. I love it. All right, I can't go through everybody. There's lots of people here. I did call it. Thank you, James Flowers. Too big to rig. We got it. We did get it. Trump dance copyright movement. He says, here at large, thank you for that. That is going to take my my copyright. Yeah, my copyright strike might take that money. So I appreciate you guys with the donations. Roxy Loyola, thank you so much for the donation. I don't know you. This is a new person. This is awesome. Super chat. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate it. But sure, if you want a question or something, you also throw it in there since you hit me up with the beautiful chat. All right, let's get moving though. We got lots to talk about tonight, my dear friends here. So look at this bombshell. So today, old Jackie Smith here, he had to drop some charges. Oh, this one hurt. This one hurt them, guys. Do you guys remember in October? And this was their big October surprise they tried to get going at the beginning. Is the whole we have more evidence and it's going to get out there. I mean, they they got nothing. They got nothing. And now that Trump's in, moving forward, got Pam Bondi in AG, which she's going to get. She's definitely going to get confirmed. Now we got this going, guys. It's all falling apart. So he dropped this first. And then about 30 minutes later, he also dropped the charges in the illegal documents case as well. So now, I mean, we have the Stormy Daniels case where Trump was convicted on the nonsense, 34 felonies. That is now indefinitely postponed, which means it's going to get dismissed. And that means nobody can call him a felon anymore. Now, Jack Smith drops all this. The Georgia case is gone. It's all falling apart. They threw everything at him, and it is completely falling apart on them. And this is just beautiful. I mean, look at him. He's so sad. This guy is the biggest hack in the world. This whole lawfare thing. I'm reading this amazing book right now called Unhumans by Jack Posobiec and Joshua Lisek. It's fantastic, and it's all about how communists infiltrate nations and how they start and their methods and how they anyways, it's crazy the parallels towards what the left is doing today. But one of the beautiful things is we won this election so resoundingly. It's over. But this lawfare thing is a big part of it. Them trying to paint him as a criminal, ruin him, and it just fell apart. You know why? Because Americans are badass. Deep down, in our hearts, in our blood, is freedom. We cry for freedom and independence, and we don't want the state telling us what to do. We don't want them telling us who our leaders are. We don't want them messing up our system and who we get to pick. And so they have completely fallen apart on all ends. And this is absolutely just a huge deal, guys. It's a huge deal because it's going to save it saves Trump from what probably, if he hadn't become president, well, let me play this by Matt Gaetz real quick. This is really good.
Congrats to President Trump for being 100% not guilty. But I want all Americans to remember this. If we had somehow not prevailed in this election, Jack Smith would not be dismissing these charges. He would be proceeding to trial. And though this monumental victory was won for all Americans led by President Trump, we have to remember, just like we came within fractions of fractions from civil war when President Trump survived an assassination attempt, we also were just fractions away from these people trying to throw Donald Trump in prison. So while all of us are grateful for this victory, for Trump, it was victory or prison, because he wasn't going to get a fair trial. It was going to be some knockdown, drag-out deal with a predetermined outcome. So enjoy the victory, President Trump. But the rest of us have to do all we can to ensure that no one is ever put in this type of a situation again, and we make America great again.
He nails it. He absolutely nails it. And I know that Gaetz is going to be up to something here soon. I honestly, look how happy this man is right now. Look at that smile. This guy is happy. He's out of the house. He doesn't have to deal with the politics anymore. He's a free agent. He can do whatever he wants, go after his true passion, which is unearthing corruption, breaking things open, getting things out in the open. I mean, it is Gates is where he needs to be. And as much of a bummer as it is, we won't have him as AG because I think he would have done an absolutely fantastic job. He's where he needs to be. And we're going to keep getting stuff like this from him, which is just it's very exciting. I can't wait to see what he does. Apparently, he's going to be going out and going after Congress on the what's it called? Their stock trading, and from there, who knows, he might come to like help our markets out, and just so much could be going crazy with that. So that is that's one of the big things that just we dodged such a bullet, and Trump dodged such a bullet by getting elected. It could have just ruined his life. It could have torn America apart. Can you imagine if they'd keep going through with everything, he hadn't been elected, and they just flat out put him in prison, and we lost the election, and then they jailed him. Guys, I don't know if our country as we are survives that. I just don't. So we dodged this huge bullet, and now the winning is on. So Nordman says, love Trump, take it easy on us in the Great White North. Listen, man, we're not going to hurt you guys. We're going to do stuff that sets you free. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to talk about that in a second here. But, well, actually, you know what? Let's just get started on that now, because that's the next big thing since Nordman brought this up here. But we got the next, with all that gone, with Trump now is feeling himself, and today announced, which this is huge. He announced that he's going to slap Canada and Mexico with a 25% tariff until they clean up illegal immigration. That's why Canada, man, is over there getting scared. Listen, don't worry. I mean, I don't think this is long term. There's no way that he wants to keep tariffs on people bordering us for long. But you guys got to clean up your act. And the only thing people like Trudeau listen to or Mexico listen to is money. That's it. Money or force. And we don't need to use force. We don't want to fight you guys. So this is actually going to be a good thing for you, these tariffs. But yes, the market doesn't like it. And on top, that's okay though, because the market's not in a good place anyways. So I saw somebody today tweeted that, Trump might as well drop all these bombs right now that might affect the market because it's in such a bad place anyways. Might as well let the market tank on Biden's watch, or at least early in the Trump term, so they can't be blamed on him. And we need a correction anyway. So this is how you do it. You start getting all this stuff out there, and it blows everything up before they can blame it on him. And that's exciting, guys. I mean, it's perfectly timed. And this is also a big shot across the bow. Trudeau, get your act together. Mexico, get your act together. And so Canada, it might be a small amount of suffering in the moment, but listen, it's going to be worth it in the long run if you get rid of Trudeau. James Flower says, can't wait for Trump to drop the new SEC chair nomination. Yeah, so my thoughts on that, and the FBI, because he hasn't named an FBI director yet. My thoughts on that is he's waiting until both of those guys resign, because both of those guys, they're not cabinet positions. So the SEC chair and the director of the FBI, they're terms. Okay, so the FBI is 10 years. I don't know how long the SEC chair is, but they're both termed. Okay, and so they're both saying they're going to resign before Trump comes in. But since they're not cabinet positions and they're not regularly cycled every 2 to 4 years, he's going to wait till they resign to announce them, which makes a lot of sense. Okay. So just remember that we're probably going to be waiting on the SEC chair until after Gensler resigns. We're going to be waiting on FBI director until Ray resigns. And so just remember for that. Oh, Rum. Yeah. I don't know if Smith will get disbarred, but he'll definitely be fired. Walmart's getting rid of DI. I saw that too. I can't even talk about it. There's too much to talk about. Craig, you think Matt as AG would have been bigger than Trump taking office? No, there's no way. I'm sorry, Craig. That's a great idea. Oh, okay. You cleared yourself up in the next one. It would be big for just being served, but there's nothing bigger than being the president. Just nothing, because he's in charge of all of it. We don't have a new SEC director yet, do we, Rumdog? I haven't seen anybody. Mike, you think Trump had Bondi in his back pocket? He knew Gates wasn't confirmed, but did to F with him. Well, I think he did the Gates thing for a lot of reasons. And I've talked about this in my video, so I'll make this really quick. The nomination of Gates achieved a couple really brilliant goals. Okay. Number one, which this was pretty easy because he probably already knew, but it brought out the Rhino senators to the front. Okay. That's good. That's easy. He probably knew most of them, but this confirmed it. And it also made it so all of MAGA Nation saw. Okay. Number one. Number two, and I think this is actually the bigger one. It moved the goalposts. Okay. So he's nominating all these people: Pete Hegseth, RFK Jr., what's her name, Tulsi Gabbard, so on and so forth. And some of them are people that the Dems and the Rhinos do not want nominated. They're scared of them. They're too strong. But by nominating Gates, he threw out a complete and utter wild card that had very little chance of getting through unless Trump really strong-armed them. And that could have created all these issues between him and the Senate going forward. But what he did is by putting him out there, it moved the goalposts so that they were like, oh, that one's crazy. That one's crazy. Holy crap, that one's crazy. So it moved the goalposts over there. So now that Gates is gone, it's like, oh, these guys seem great. At least Gates isn't in there. And now it makes them easier. It's a trick, guys. It's the big ask. It's what you do in business. It's what you do in marketing. It's a brilliant play because now everybody else seems tame by proxy, including Pam Bondi, who's super intense and also has the experience to do it. And I know she's got some skeletons in her closet, whatever. Listen, guys, if we're going to look for purity in MAGA, you're never going to be happy because there's only so many people and there's a ton of places we got to appoint. Listen, all that matters is they do the job they're appointed to do, and Trump can fire them if they don't. If they messed up here or there, they cross the streams here or there, we got to let it go. Okay, we got to let it go unless it specifically can harm them. But no policy gets through without the president. The president can keep them on a short leash. RFK I have huge disagreements with that, but I don't disagree with him in health. He's in health. You know, Bondi had a couple things that I don't like, but they're not going to affect her job as AG cleaning up this place. So we just got to think of that. Okay. I don't know anything about PFE, Michael Anthony. Sorry. What's up, Steve? Trudeau's a dink. Can't wait to vote him out. He's terrible. He's absolutely terrible. Do the tariffs wind up costing consumer to pay higher prices? That's a great question, Peter Joy. I have a great tweet here for you. Okay. Here is Scott Bessent, who's going to be our new Treasury Secretary, an excellent choice, might I add, on that. By the way, as soon as I get a day that's going to be a slow news day where I don't have a lot to report on, I'm going to go through and we're going to rank his cabinet, bottom to top, like just go through them all, how good they are, what I think they'll do, and I think that'll be a really good show for everybody. So we kind of know where we stand with everybody. But Scott Bessent says, tariffs can't be inflationary because if the price of one thing goes up, unless you give people more money, then they have less money to spend on other things. So there's no net inflation. So it won't cause inflation. Prices will go up, but only on junk for the most part. It's only junk that comes from across the sea, which we don't need to buy. Most stuff we don't need to buy. Okay. What'll happen, guys, is at first we're going to see some price action from these. But if everything else works out, what it'll do is it's going to bring in, it's going to increase trade deficit. It's going to make that much better. We have to go through some pain. Okay. We have to go through a period where some things are going to be hard, but we're also about to enter into what I believe is a great market correction, a great economic correction that's going to be deflationary. Okay. And energy will get cheaper because Trump's going to drill. That'll bring down prices. We're going to get our agriculture cleaned up. Okay. All this nonsense because of green policies, that'll get cleaned up. So our food will start getting cheaper. And then all this other stuff, the only thing tariffs are going to affect is what's coming from overseas. Well, if we're doing better here at home, that won't be an issue. So yes, your iPhone might go up a couple $100 because it won't be made by Chinese slaves anymore, but that's okay. We can live with that. All right. We live in a fake economy, guys. We live in a fake economy. How many things do you actually need from the dollar store? Like, be real. We don't need most of that stuff. So yes, prices will go up, but it won't be on the stuff we need. Things we want might get a little more expensive, but I'm willing to deal with that if we all have better wages, our needs are cheaper, which is energy, rent, food. If all those three things go cheaper and my taxes go lower, I can afford to pay more for an iPhone. Okay, which I'd never buy. I can afford to pay more for my Samsung. But that's really how tariffs work. It's only on imports, and it's also going to force more to be made in America. And we have to trust the process. Okay. The process will lead to a better economy, and we'll all be in a much better place. All right, guys, if you look back 50, 60 years, everything in America was cheaper except for some goods, imported. That like everything else, energy, food, shelter, the three biggies, all cheaper. The only thing that's gotten cheaper since then is stuff. Well, guess what? Stuff doesn't feed your family. Stuff doesn't make it so you can save up to go to vacation. Cheap stuff drugs you so you can keep staying in the same place and be happy even when they're ruining the world around you. And we just got to get rid of the cheap stuff. Okay. We don't need Chinese crap anymore. All right. So just remember that when you're worried about prices. Everything else gets cheaper based on the policies that are coming. The big three, especially energy, cost of living, and food. That's the big three. And taxes better too. So we get all that out. And also don't forget, like, Trump might, if everything goes well with the tariffs, we might actually, and this is the big ass. This is the amazing, I can't even see it happening, but it could. Maybe not in these 4 years, but if we get Vance back in and this agenda keeps progressing, we keep purging Congress, then sometime in the next 8 to 12 years, this could happen. But I really think we get all these tariffs and track and move forward. Everybody he's putting on his economic team, including Trump himself, is like, get a bunch of tariffs up. Let's fund our government that way. And let's get rid of income tax. I am so on board with that. We can run our country on tariffs and sales tax. It'd be so easy. And that's just better. That's just so much better for everybody. XRP, can the people in Canada get rid of Trudeau? I think there's an election coming up and they're just going to have to be too big to rig like we did. James, you got the investigation off Gates. That's right. That's another thing they did. And now Gates can, DeSantis can appoint Gates if he wants to. That's correct. Trump doing tariffs will show the world don't mess around. Exactly. Yeah, I talked about that at the beginning. Pam, listen, I'm not a big, believer in homosexual marriage, all that stuff too. But you know what? I live and let live. He's an adult. If he runs the economy well, I'm not going to go into his private life. That's between him and God. I just don't care. Like, not unless he's up there, trying to teach my kids it and promote it. I don't care. And that's kind of where we all got to be. We all going to have disagreements in life. Everybody has some in their life we do that people disagree with. Kryptonian, those ones will come down. We start doing more manufacturing of goods here in the U.S. That's also right. It'll drive competition. You're exactly right, Kryptonian. We bring more stuff here. We create competition. We get Americans jobs. We build stuff better. Yeah, exactly right. It'll make prices go down. Make egg prices great again. That's right. Please like, share, subscribe. Thank you guys for reminding me. Yeah, guys, if you're new here, please subscribe. Everybody, please take 1 second, just one, hit that like button for the algorithm. I really appreciate it. My channel has finally broken out of a shadow ban and been doing much better the last month. So I want to keep that momentum going. So your guys' likes really help that. And and then please comment as much as you want. I try to answer as many as I can. And just welcome to the Ace Report. Let's see. Okay, hope we do see a library named after Biden. I mean, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Petronas, Florida CFO, Trump's backing for Gates' seat in this special election. Yeah, it'll easily go to a Republican. Absolutely. Yeah, no illegals. Gates could be appointed to the Senate. I don't think it's going to happen, but it could be. So, yeah. Anyways, okay, let me keep moving here, guys, because there's plenty to go over. I thought I had another thing to share on the tariffs, but I guess I forgot. I guess I didn't pull it up. So, but let's talk about the economy for a second, because it's in a crazy bad place. And I saw this amazing article the other day I want to share with you guys. So here it is right here. This is from Just Dario, who is a must follow if you guys like economic stuff. But yes, I do think they all get a library, Butters. I really do. So, okay. So this is called How the Biden Administration Set Up Minefields All Over the U.S. Economy. And get out of here. Oh my God, my stupid ad blocker. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second here. Okay. How the Biden administration set up minefields all over the U.S. economy to undermine the future government in case they lose elections. It's a great article. I'm not going to go through everything, but I want to show you this. Let's go through the mines here. Okay. Now, I've been telling you guys that I really truly believe they propped up this economy just to try to get Biden in and lie about the numbers, fudge the numbers, everything, or Biden, Kamala, whoever, just to try to, they're all the same person anyways. It's all run by a Democratic, liberal, crazy globalist machine. So they just wanted to get back in, and they were propping up the economy. And now that it's over, already we've seen they've tried to get World War III started. Biden was like, yeah, Ukraine, go shoot missiles, our missiles. Like, that's insane. No president in history has ever done that in their lame duck session on their way out before the next president comes in. It's just unheard of. But here we are. So he's trying to get World War III started. I don't think it'll work. But the next thing is that this economy is such a joke that we're just waiting for the black swan, the rug pull, whatever it is. Something is eventually going to break this market. For Trump's sake, it's better if it happens sooner than later, because the sooner it happens, the more obvious it is that it happened because of Biden's policies. And that's just what we need to happen. That's the best opportunity, because then Trump gets all the cachet and all the trust to rebuild. That's best case scenario. So basically, we need it to happen between now and the end of next year, because a president's going to get a full year with an economy before they blame anything on him. That's just how it goes. The media will try, but the people won't listen. But if the economy stays good, if it stays livable and the stock market stays up until 2026, then we're in trouble. Well, Trump's in trouble, not us. We're in trouble either way for a period of time. But this period of time is also going to yield great opportunity and to accumulate assets cheap. And I think because of what Trump's going to do, it's not going to last very long. We're going to get through it pretty quick, and then we're going to be off to the races to what I think will be the best economy of our lifetimes if Trump gets everything through, and I believe he will. But these are the things we got to look out for that are going to tank this economy. So, number one, the jobs market. According to government agencies, U.S. economy added 7.8 million new payroll jobs over the last 5 years, but gained only 3.7 million new workers. How's that possible? How do you add 7.8 million new payroll jobs with only 3.7 million new workers? This doesn't make sense. In a nutshell, Bureau of Labor Statistics conducts two types of surveys, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to get into all this, but here we go. Two messages from this chart. Non-farm payroll number is overstated by a much larger number than the 818,000 job revision already announced. Remember when that happened 2 months ago? They just out of nowhere like, hey, by the way, we have almost 1 million less jobs than we're telling you we have. No big deal. No, it's just almost 1 million jobs. With the exception of the great financial crisis, when the job losses were mostly limited to white-collar financial sector jobs, you can notice a sharp decline in this gap always anticipated economic recessions. Right now, the gap's at the same level of March 2020, which is when we had our last crash, flash crash. He says, I'm afraid this downturn is not done. The job market for U.S.-born citizens is simply disastrous, deteriorating completely against the narrative pushed by the Fed. So this chart right here is crazy. Okay, so you see this blue line? This is employment level, all employees non-farm payroll. And then this is employment for foreign-born. Okay, so this is non-farm payroll, foreign-born. This is all foreign-born. Okay, look at how this goes. So this is like Americans in good and private jobs, and it's just off a cliff right here. Meanwhile, the illegals are getting all these jobs. That's where we're at right now. That's our good job growth. It says private employment market for U.S. born citizens is effectively collapsing. That's terrible. Don't ask me why I know MS mainstream media has been talking about this at all. Clearly, underneath the surface, situation is dramatic. You can bet this mine will explode if Trump goes back into government, tries to rein in out of control government spending. Yeah. So that's going to be one of the first things. What are they going to do? They're going to cut spending. That's one of the main things Trump has to do. And he has to do it because of the deficit. But this is all government jobs and illegals getting all the jobs. That's it. That's all you got. See, the government is this green line right here, and it spikes up here. It's disgusting. But that's been one way they've been actually stimulating the economy, is just by buying up a bunch of jobs for the government. All right, number 2, next mine, inflation. This is this Shadow Stats continues to calculate inflation based on pre-1990s and more methodology, consistently report a 4% gap between official CPI calculated by the BLS and one effectively experienced by people in the real world. This means current level of inflation is actually 6.5%, not 2.5%. So, and now they're cutting rates. They're not even trying to get inflation down at this point. Okay. And we all know it's higher. You guys go to the grocery store. All right. Bomb number 3, or mine number 3. Despite ridiculously buoyant Q3 banks earnings season, FDIC report in June, banks alone are sitting on $570 billion of unrealized losses. That's insane. That's insane. To conclude, stage is set for a perfect storm to hit Donald Trump's administration in case he will be reelected in 3 weeks. As things stand now, it's clearly impossible to rein in out-of-control deficit spending, inflation, support increasingly struggling banking sector without continuing the exact same policies the current U.S. administration has been perpetrating. In other words, guys, as soon as they take their foot off the printing, it's going to blow up. So get ready. But the good news is that we go through this, it'll be good for short squeeze stocks. As we've always said, once that liquidity pulls out and it starts breaking, boom. So if this starts happening soon, guys, stocks like DJT, Finger should absolutely blow up. GameStop might still blow up. All right. It's very possible for all these and many others we don't even know about, or some of you guys might know about. I don't follow. That's going to happen. What this will also do, though, is it'll temporarily tank crypto, but crypto could jump back up, but that's a buying opportunity. So again, there's going to be lots of opportunities in this, but it's also scary because it's we're going to go through a hard time. But like somebody was bringing up earlier with prices, it's going to deflate prices, and we just got to weather this storm. So, do whatever you guys got to do to be prepared. I hope you have strong jobs. I hope you have whatever you can do, good communities, because we're headed for a rough few months here soon. I don't know how long it'll last, but I as that article shows, I'm clearly not the only one seeing this. And I just think that it's getting harder and harder to hold it off. And at this point, they really don't have a reason to hold off. Here's a graphic that kind of exemplifies what I'm talking about here. This is the shore. This is us. Here's 2008, and this is 2025. I mean, I laugh, but it's actually kind of scary. But we got the right person in office, and you just got to remember that the worse things get, the more power he'll have to change things quick. And so it's about perspective. It's about perspective. If everything was great when Trump got in, he'd have very little opportunity to do stuff because everybody would be like, don't touch anything, don't change anything. But just like when Obama came in 2008 and everything had crashed, this is going to give him a mandate to get way more done. All right, let me catch up with you guys a little bit here. If I said already, no, we don't know who's replacing SEC Chair Gensler. I don't think it'll happen until he resigns. Do I still have hope in GTII? I have hope, yes. I don't have any control. I don't have any idea what's going on except for Richard's updates. So I have nothing to talk about on GTII. But hey, I still got money in it. I still have no plans of going anywhere. I can't, honestly. But my hope's not gone. I just can't do anything about it. Let's see here. Yellen has great hair. What? Craig says, "What you can work your way out of a shadow ban is more like I think it is more of a flick of a switch." Craig, yeah, I don't know why I said it that way. Kryptonian, Ham mentioned today Trump will address legal, corrupt, short selling, counterfeit securities soon. Hope, God, I hope so. We could appoint Matt Gaetz. Oh yeah, I think Trump will. He's been getting through his cabinet, and then he's going to start stepping back and addressing issues. Okay, so and also he's got to get this transition through. So we'll see what happens. But eventually it'll happen. I know that. So regarding the job numbers, maybe they're only full-time equivalents. Jobs are part-time. A lot of them are part-time, Rum Dog. But the full-time ones are government jobs. That's really what it comes down to. Stella, when they start gutting things, going to be painful for some. Long run will be great. That's exactly right. Yeah. Ryan, this country over Trump can't save this no matter how much he tries. I want to get Biden. Shit's so much messed up. I don't want to be next. Well, Ryan, you're right. Except that attitude is the wrong attitude, and it's fine if you don't feel that way, but I'm glad Trump does. Trump wants this. He wants to fix America. He wants to fix. That makes him a great leader. Great leaders want to rise up when things are hard, and Trump's going to. He's going to rise up. I mean, the world is crazy right now. We have multiple wars going on. If Russia and us got into a hot war, it would be World War III. So we're like, there's a craziness going on in the world right now. We got Middle East going on too, trying to get us into war with Iran. Insanity. Okay. And meanwhile, our economy is on the brink of failure. They gave us a big old bowl of dog crap. And that's what they're handing over to Trump. But here's the deal. They wanted that bowl too. And you know why they wanted it? Because if they were able to get everything going and they won this election, then they know what it means when everything goes bad. When everything goes bad, the people look to the government to save them. And when the people look to the government to save you, all of a sudden you have massive power. You have massive power. And they wanted to use that to enslave us all. They wanted to use it to press their agenda, to take away our rights in the name of safety and security, take away our rights and get us into some pseudo-communist agenda. And until it fully becomes communism down the road, it would be insane. And that's what they wanted. They want all this to happen. Problem is these morons let all this happen, and now it's falling into the lap of somebody who's very pro-America, very pro-Constitution, very pro our founding and how we were raised up, all this stuff. And I'm just telling you, he's going to purge. He's going to purge and rebuild, and it's going to take time to do all of it. But this is going to be an accelerant. It's going to put gas on the fire of his administration to get things moving. So as bad as it'll be, as painful as it'll be in the short term, it'll yield much, much bigger results going forward if this happens. And so that's what we got to do. And we just got to figure out how we're all going to weather the storm and how we all I'm telling everybody, like, whatever you're passionate about, whatever you've done your research on that you feel good about, when those assets dip down, that's the time to buy. That's what I think Ryan Cohen has built a war chest in GameStop for. I think he saw this coming, and he's going to just turn GameStop into some massive SPAC by buying up all this stuff when things go bad. I really do. So we'll see what happens. Elon's hair looks like Phil Donahue. GameStop's up 30% last 30 days. I know, that's awesome. I mean, what's DJT up the last 30 days, 40 days? It went down to 12 and now it's 30 still. I mean, that's almost triple. So how can the government save you when they can't save themselves? That's a good question, Alan. I mean, they're meant to be there not to save us, but to definitely help us. And they obviously don't do it. All right, I got a couple other things to share with you guys tonight. This was just fun news, but I wanted to share it because I got a lot of people in here who believe in Rumble and have Rumble stock, and this is huge. The biggest streamer in the world, gaming, my favorite. I actually have a subscription to him because I watch him for fun all the time. He cracks me up. Dr. Disrespect is going to Rumble on exclusive deal where he gets actual ownership in Rumble stock, I'm guessing, and he'll be streaming their exclusive. This is very exciting for Rumble, and we just want Rumble to grow as a free speech alternative to YouTube. And obviously the stock is a heavily shorted stock, so this is just going to help it even more. Remember the last time, guys, when Rumble signed somebody big, they signed Barstool, the stock went up like 50%, almost doubled, I think. So anyways, if you guys care about Rumble, this is absolutely huge news. So the doc is coming, and I hope you guys are excited about that because I love Doc Disrespect. So it's one of the reasons I'm going to keep streaming on Rumble myself and YouTube. I want Rumble to take off. I do. Until it does, I just have to keep on YouTube as well. But over time, yeah, Rumble could really turn into something, especially under the Trump administration, unless, and this is possible, with Trump coming in and issuing new guidance to social media companies and cracking down on them for censorship, YouTube might become a great place again. It might, and it might stay better. Like I said, since Trump was elected, or right before he got elected, the shadow ban must have been lifted off my channel because I've had the 4 biggest videos of my life since I've started streaming almost 2 years ago, all in the last 2.5 weeks. That's not a coincidence. And so, people would tease me, you're not shadow banned, your content just sucks, or you should stop talking about election, you stop talking about stocks, you betrayed us all this BS people would spew at me. I'm like, no, I'm telling you, I'm shadow banned. This is not normal. And as soon as it became close to Trump winning, bam, my views have shot up. My subscribers have shot up. They definitely flicked a switch. Because things have changed for me immensely the last 2.5 weeks. So I don't know. Is YouTube getting better? You guys tell me. It seems like it's getting better for me. So I'll continue to watch carefully. But at the same time, listen, Rumble's got a better pay structure. I would much rather be full-time on Rumble if I could, but it just doesn't make sense for me right now. ZJ Whale's dipping now. I just don't know what's going on with ZJ Whale right now. So it took the Reagan administration 3 years to correct the U.S. economy. It did. And Reagan did it, a lot of it through interest rates and some deregulation. He also never had the House, so he couldn't legislate the way Trump will be able to. Trump, on the other hand, is going to be able to legislate. He's going to deregulate faster than Reagan ever dared to. And he's also going to unleash oil in a way Reagan never did, energy. So all that combined, I think he can turn around a lot quicker than Reagan. That's right. Nobody's better than the doc. Robert says, election is over. Release the ace. I like that, Robert. I like that. I'm gonna keep that up. Okay, so Trump is breaking liberals' brains. I saw this today, and this was actually kind of crazy to me. What's up, Kursky? How you doing? Packer fans say, "Shut up." I don't want to talk to no Packers fans right now. So Bill Maher today had Stephen A on, and I just couldn't believe this. I'm not going to play the clip. It's a little long, and I don't have that much more time tonight. But they actually for flat out saying Trump's not a racist. I don't. The media is kind of blowing my mind right now. So you have a bunch of the leftards just totally freaking out, right? And you have some of the lower, younger influencers just crapping themselves. But we have like Mika and Joe going to meet Trump, kissing the ring, and everybody freaking out about that. Maher is out there with one of the worst TDS of all, and he's starting to like tone things down. Like, I'm not worried about it. I'm not going to worry about it till something happens. And now he's saying he's not a terrible racist. Smith says, if we're being honest, all the brothers found him to be cool. They found him to be very cool. So let's be clear, because he knew his sports, all right. He would say we feel he bucked the establishment, which we love, gravitated to that. Maher says, this, I can't believe Bill Maher said this. Is he really like in his heart hateful? No. This blew my mind when I heard this. I don't think his motivation is I don't like black people. I think his motivation is everybody must love me. Smith, I've never called him a racist, never spoken about him that way ever. Not one time because I knew him before. What is happening? It's like all of a sudden shows that I'm telling you, he broke them. He completely broke them. We have Cenk Uygur out there saying, I got to show you guys this. I didn't have it ready, but even old Janky is out there saying this crazy stuff. He says he loves Trump's labor secretary pick, and he's actually giving him props for it. We have our first real fight, populist versus establishment. I'm officially supporting President Trump's pick of Representative Lori Chavez DeRemer, Oregon, for secretary. All Murdoch media outlets, Chamber of Commerce, never Trump's establishment, Republicans are against her. This is nuts. This is nuts. So you have all these people who have been just going crazy about Trump the last few years, but they're starting to like try to give him credit on some things. But on the other side, you have people like leaving social media and freaking out. We don't have riots in the streets. This is one of the wildest things I've ever seen, guys. We thought they were gonna fall apart, but they're handling it so much better this time. Well, some of them are, but Toe Cramp says it great. He says they're trying to save their asses. That's in my honest opinion. I agree with you, except for, well, I agree with you in the case of like someone like Bill Maher. Okay. Cause I think that guy's definitely got some shady stuff going on, but I don't think Cenk does. I think Cenk is just a hardcore socialist, liberal, populist type who just wants to rail out there. He's independent media. I don't think he's one of them. I don't. Not all leftists are. Some of them are true believers. I think Cenk is one of them. And for the fact that he comes over. So, but the point is this, he broke their brains. And what else does it show us though? It also shows us that the liberals are like, they know where culture has shifted. So in 2016, when Trump won, he didn't win the popular vote and he shocked the world. So they all thought, okay, we're going to fight like hell. And we're going to get through this and we're going to stop them at every turn. And it's only going to be 4 years and we're going to get the country back to where we want it. And you know what? They did in a way. And as successful as his first term was, it didn't shift culture. It didn't shift culture. And then the leftists kept progressing their agenda. They never stopped. They didn't. And that's why we had the riots in 2020 and the insanity, and the culture just kept creeping along. This is such a momentous win because not only did it get our politics back, it got our culture back. And that's why I showed you guys the Trump dance at the beginning, because it's cool now to like Trump. In fact, it's cooler to like Trump. The liberals have lost the cool factor. And that, my friends, is what's probably the biggest deal out of this whole win. And because of that, these guys are they can't stop themselves anymore, So, but speaking of what toe cramp, what you're talking about, I'm not going to go too far on this one because this is some crazy content. But if you guys watch PBD's latest content podcast, he has this woman on who was trafficked starting in Belgium, and she's naming names. Like she started, or she did, I think she was trafficked for 5 years in the 70s. And it's wild. It is a wild podcast, but she names Rothschilds, Rockefellers. She names, what's his face is Trudeau's dad, Pierre Trudeau, as these are all guys that trafficked her. She talks about Hollywood celebrities, and then granted it's in the 70s, but she also talks about people she knows now that she works with and talks about their stuff too. So guys, this is PBD. This is not some dark behind the scenes podcast. This is one of the biggest podcasts in the world. And this stuff's starting to come out. He's starting to host these people. I mean, if you don't believe in this stuff, you have to listen to this podcast. This is the evil we're dealing with. And honestly, it's the number one. I mean, take everything else, the economy, the wars, all this stuff. It's awful and scary. But for me, the number one reason we needed Trump back is there are literally millions of children being trafficked right now as we speak. It's 350,000 missing from our border under Kamala and Joe Biden. Where do you think those kids went? This is the most awful thing going on in the world. It's the most evil thing. And most of our government is tied up in this. Not the regular employees, but those in charge are tied up in this. Most of the entertainment industry is tied up in this. Epstein, Diddy, they're just the tip of the iceberg. What they're doing is going to be considered light compared to what a lot of this other stuff going on. So check that show out. You got to watch this. But he says here, claims a billionaire went to the 72 Bilderberg meeting, trained her to be a sex slave. She originally did not want to say a person's name. Patrick got David Rockefeller from her. Rockefeller, according to her, answered to Evelyn de Rothschild, made decisions about young girls for the purpose of spying and blackmailing people. I'm telling you, this is the craziest thing, guys. And it's very serious, but it's also the fact it's coming out now, the fact it's going on bigger podcasts like PBD. There's an awakening going to happen to a lot of people. There are millions of people who trust the PBD podcast over somebody like Alex Jones. Okay. It's just the facts. So you like, we just pray that Trump does this, but you know why? One of the main reasons Trump chose Pam Bondi, because this was one of her big things going after trafficking. And that DOJ, once it's cleaned up, which I think will happen quickly, once it's cleaned up, one of the main things they're going after is the trafficking. And that is going to involve lots and lots of people in our government. It's scary, crazy stuff. Here's the clip right here. This is talking about Pierre Trudeau. So, I mean, just get ready, guys. It's going to get wild here soon. It's going to get really wild. Michael Anthony, I don't know about Pfizer. I'm sorry, but if you want to buy Pfizer as a great deal, great. Make some money off that. I don't follow it enough, Michael, but thank you for the tip. Hot Rod. Thanks, man. I appreciate you for saying that. He says he enjoys watching, staying silent. Need to know there are a lot of others like me. Love what you stand for, your passion. Thank you, Hot Rod. That means the world to me. I told the members the other day, I love this community. I love doing this show. I only want to get better for you guys. I only want to bring more guests. I want to expand. I want to do better at covering the news. We won the election. and now we got to rebuild. Now is actually the work. Winning the election was the most important part as far as beating the other side, but now we got to actually get to work, and that's rebuilding. It's not time to take off. It's not time to stop sharing stuff. It's not time to not be involved. It's not, you can take a break, you can celebrate, you can recharge, all that's good, but then it's time to get back in. We have a country to build for our children, for our grandchildren, for their children. That's what we got to keep doing, and we have to build, and that's where we're at, guys. And get involved as you can, but it's fun because we get to remake this country the way we want to, and that is that's very exciting and very fun. So it's going to be work, but it's going to be great work, and it's going to be on our time now, on the way we want things, like with Trump in. And I do believe it's going to continue past that. The one caveat, and I don't think this will happen, but if some way Trump doesn't get election reform through, then we got to worry about 2028, because if he doesn't get that through, they're always going to have the ability to make it close or to steal without changing, I should say. We have elections in our country, so a lot of other things could happen. They could have an amazing candidate come up. They could go to the center, and the left could come in strong in 2028. I don't see that happening. We've just shifted the culture. We broke them. And when that happens, there's usually a wave that lasts for the side that does it. And in my lifetime, actually, even it was before my lifetime, in recent history, I should say, it's only happened 3 times. Actually, I'll say 4 times. I can go back to the 1932, when Roosevelt won his first election. That broke culture. Part of it was because of Great Depression, but because Roosevelt did that, he got elected 4 times, and then Truman got elected, his vice president, the 5th time. So that was 5 times in a row where basically the Roosevelt regime was in. So that's number 1. Number 2, the time when culture went completely to one side was Reagan in 1980. What happened in Reagan in 1980? He wins 1980 big. He wins 1984 bigger. And then Bush comes in, wins a massive landslide in 1988. Nobody even liked Bush. He was Reagan's guy. So that's 12 years rule. The next time was Obama in 2008. It was such a rebuke of Bush republicanism and his charisma and everything that Obama just rode a wave, easily won in 2012. And if Trump wasn't Trump, they would have won in 2016. But that's why the bump came back with Biden. And so we lived under Obama's wave because, like I said, culture didn't shift with Trump's win in 2016. It didn't shift. Just we won political power, but we hadn't won the culture back yet. And so that shift that didn't happen. So Obama's cultural shift lasted from 2008 until about halfway through Biden's term. And then culture started shifting because he was so awful. And honestly, it sounds funny, but you can kind of say like it really started shifting with the movie Maverick, Top Gun Maverick. That brought America together like we hadn't seen in a long time. It's very silly, but it's actually true. And that stuff started shifting. It became cool to be American again. And then Trump, the MAGA movement just got stronger than ever. We just won massively. And that killed this. That's the big cultural shift. So that's cultural shift number 4 since 1932. And every time, guys, every time there's a cultural shift, that cultural shift lasts. You could argue that even when Clinton lost to Bush, we still had that shift, that like cultural, patriotic, Republican conservative shift in our country, even under Clinton, because Clinton kind of ran things like a Republican. He tried to go left, lost big in 94 to the House, so stayed that way. So you could say he kind of started eroding it, but you could say it lasted through most of Clinton too in the 90s. So FDR had 20 years, 24 years of a cultural shift before it ended. Reagan gave us 20-ish years, 16 to 20 years of a cultural shift. Obama was about 16 years. And now the MAGA shift. And I expect it to last 12 to 20 years, maybe longer. And when that, like I just said, when that happens, you hold a shift, and it's clear we've just gotten started. We've just gotten started. It would not surprise me if in 2028, being MAGA with all that Trump's going to pull off, it would not surprise me if Vance wins with 53 to 55% of the vote. It wouldn't surprise me at all. I think it'll be a landslide. I really do. And he's a better politician than Trump is. So just exciting stuff. Stella, some are trying to save their ass. I don't think the Dems are going to roll over. Remember what Jamie Raskin said about not letting him take office. Stella, you're right, except there's a caveat in that, what Raskin said. Part of what he said, if you listen to a longer speech, he said, if it's close, we'll challenge it. This wasn't close. They cannot challenge this. They might throw a couple things up there, but they lost the House and the Senate. And, well, we kept the House, I should say. We flipped the Senate with 53. It's not 50 or 51. It's 53, which is strong, pretty strong. And Trump won the popular vote. So what Raskin was saying, and I've already gone over how it's almost impossible for them to pull off what he was saying anyways. Now it's even more impossible. There's just no way Raskin can do it. So their only hope is to give Trump, get him into World War III and destroy the economy. So he's so focused on that for 4 years, he can't do what they're afraid he'll do and come after them. So I'm not going to draw my name on the upcoming interview yet, Toe Cramp, not until it's actually scheduled. But I tell you what, if you're a member, I did tell the members yesterday, but I'm not making it public yet. Candace says, I think we have the best community out there, hands down. Love everything you report. Thank you, Candace. That means the world to me. It really does. You guys are so awesome. You loyalists, you've been here for a long time from the beginning with me. And I'm so grateful for your support. If this channel ever does anything bigger than it is, and listen, I don't know what'll ever happen. I might just be doing this with you guys for the next 10 years, and I'm fine with that. It's okay. But if this ever takes off, I'll never, I won't forget you guys. I'm always going to try to be very involved in the community, because that's my favorite part of this whole thing. Brett, Pfizer might be a good investment. You're going to start buying up stock, and oops, crap my pants in defense. Thank you, Philip. Imagine if you're a Bears fan. Yeah, no, that would not be good. Yeah, smash the like. Thank you, Hero. Take 1 second. Hit the like, guys, just for the algorithm's sake. And if you're new, please subscribe. I appreciate it. Kasink, I agree. It's a blessing in disguise that Trump didn't win in 20. The country, it was better if he won, but the country wasn't ready to fully run with it yet. And so it was better for the country if he won in 2020, but it's better. Like, it's just better we didn't get Biden at all. But overall, it's better that we went through that, because it woke so many up, and now Trump gets to run, just absolutely run with where he's going. So Notre Dame versus Army won in football, women's basketball. Nice. All right. Well, guys, on that note, I had a couple other things I'm going to share, but they can wait. So please like, share, subscribe. I'm going to start letting you guys go unless you got something else, so I'll stay for a minute. Hero at Large says, Raskin can't do anything since the charges were dropped by Jack Smith. That's a wonderful point. He dropped the January 6th charges. I didn't even think about that, Hero. That really makes the insurrection case much harder, because that's what Raskin said they'd do. They'd go after him for insurrection. But, yeah, good luck, because he's already beaten an impeachment based on that. The Supreme Court never went after him for it, and now the January 6th charge has been dropped. Wow. Good job, Hero. That's a great observation. So, all right, guys, I'm going to head out. I got work tomorrow. I'm sure many of you do too. It's late here, midnight. So God bless y'all. I'll definitely be back tomorrow. You guys can count on it. like, share, subscribe, please. I appreciate it. That's all I ask for is your guys' support. If you want more, this members live yesterday, I talked about DJT, I talked about Finger, I talked about crypto, and I dropped the name of the guest I might have. So if you want to watch that live, it's $3. That's $3 a month. That's all I ask for. You get the extra members content for a month, and you get the into the Discord. So just hit that join button. I appreciate it. So like, share, subscribe. Let's end in a prayer, and we're going to take the rest of the night off. So Heavenly Father, thank you for today. God bless these wonderful people, this amazing community. I thank you for them, Lord. You've just been so good to us. So Lord, I pray you protect Donald Trump, protect our nation, the world from any World War III kind of stuff trying to ramp up. I just pray, God, that is averted and peace reigns, Lord, and everything gets figured out so that Trump can enter into and our nation can start off with peace next year. And God, I pray also that whatever's going on in the economy, that you just prepare everybody, keep them all safe, and help us make the wise decisions that'll get us through it so that we can all prosper in what I believe will be a more prosperous time we've ever seen in our nation going forward afterwards. So thank you for that. Thank you again that we won. And God, put on everybody's heart what you have for them to do as we rebuild our nation and make it better than ever. And thank you again. Bless everybody here in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. Love you guys. Have a great night. I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.